Hello and welcome to Radio Waves. I'm your host, Kris Poliquin, and this is a production of Red Apples Media. We're broadcasting out of real country, WLBE 790 AM out of Leesburg, Florida. And if you're watching us on television, you're doing so on Lake Sumter TV, Comcast Channel 13, Spectrum 498, and Prism Channel 83. So with the holidays fastly approaching, almost too fast if you ask me, I invited two representatives to talk about general safety and to-dos and not to-dos for people over the holiday season. So my first guest will be Sergeant Kim Stewart from the Leesburg Police Department, followed by Lieutenant Amanda Stevenson from the Fire Department. So let's get it going. Sergeant, thank you very much for taking the time out of what I'm sure is a very busy schedule to come and be a guest on our show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, this isn't your first time, and you're actually conducting yourself very well. I told you I'd call you out. All right, so tell us a little bit about what you do for the police department, and then we'll kind of get into some of the other things we spoke prior to the show.
Well, I am the Community Services Division Supervisor. It consists of me.
Okay. So I know you're busy now.
Actually, I have two people that have been added, but they're school resource officers. But yes, I am community services. I do all the community events, and I do crime prevention for the city.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit of that crime prevention. And I know a 15-minute amount of time, you can't just educate everybody on everything we should be keeping our eye out on. But there's a lot of simple things I think the public can do to kind of help them get through the holidays to prevent, I don't want to say harm doing to them, but theft or things of that nature.
Correct. During the holiday seasons, we have an increase in robberies and thefts for people shopping. And there are things that people can do to try and make things, keep themselves a little bit safer. When they're shopping, I highly recommend shop with somebody, shop with a friend. There's always safety in numbers.
Right.
When they're parking, make sure you stay in a well-lit area. If you have to shop at night, it'd be better to shop during the day, but obviously we work during the day, so people do have to do some shopping at night.
Sure.
So make sure you're familiar with the parking lot, park in a well-lit area. When you have your packages, don't leave them in the car. I know a lot of people will go from store to store, leave them in the back seat. That's a telltale sign that there's something in there to be stolen. Put them in the trunk, secure them in the trunk. Don't leave any of your valuables, cell phones, purses, computers, laptops. People carry tablets now. People will leave them just sitting out on the seat, and not everybody has tinted windows, so bad guys see in, and that's opportunity for them.
Yeah, and this is the time of year where they're expecting that.
Correct.
Right? That,
oh, yeah.
People are people, and there are good and bad. And what's funny is that a lot of what you've already mentioned, I'm sure our audience is going, well, duh, who's going to do that?
Right.
Who's going to not lock their car door as they walk away from their car door, not locking it?
A lot of people don't lock their cars.
Yeah, there's simple steps. And again, I'm not trying to desensitize the importance of it, but they're simple. And my experience that over the holidays, people are scrambling. You brought up going from one store to the other.
Correct.
That a lot of times, at least in my life, I'm hustling when I'm doing that. So I'm in, out, in, out, in, out. Your phone's going off. The kids are yanking at your shirt tails. It's easy to forget some of these small things.
Well, something that you just mentioned, phones going off. We have people now that they walk with looking at their phones. They're not paying attention to their surroundings and seeing what's going on around them, and that can definitely create situations that may not benefit you if you're not paying attention to what's going on.
Sure.
There are things that bad guys look for. That's one of them. And in today's society, everybody's got their head in that phone or that face in the phone, and they're not looking at things. So I put the phone up, maybe stop. Once you get inside, if you've got to look at something or check something, do that. But don't do it while you're walking. I know just the other day I went to Walmart and the stores are already crowded, And I
Oh,
had
yeah.
two people walk in front of me paying attention to their phones. I had to slam on my brakes. Not that I was going fast. It's not that fast in front of the store.
Yeah.
But it's still, a 3,000-pound vehicle can do some serious damage to a pedestrian.
Oh, absolutely. And it's that I love Christmas, but it is a distracting time of year.
It is.
And yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. We're already looking at our phones too much now. You increase the flow of that, the volume of face on phone walking. And I think we're in for a little bit more trouble. So, as you're walking around in the store, as I grew up, my mom had her purse over her shoulder or in the buggy, and then walking around different aisles and just leaving the purse in the buggy and stuff. I think it's safe to say most people know not to do that anymore. But isn't there? If it wasn't still an issue, we wouldn't still be talking about it.
That's true. For men, I highly recommend you carry your wallet in your front pocket. It's habit for most men to carry their wallets in their back pocket, but you are a little bit more sensitive to somebody taking something out of your front pocket's less likely than somebody trying to push your wallet up and get it out of your back pocket. Women, if they don't have to carry purses, don't carry a purse. Either way, men or women don't carry a lot of cash. But the women that do, I see it all the time. They carry purses, they have their wallets. With the purse open, wallet is sitting in the front of the child section of the buggy, cash sticking out of it, or a credit card. Somebody can walk by and take that credit card or take that cash out, take the whole wallet for that matter, because you're excuse me, you're not paying attention to the buggy. You're looking at what's on the aisles. You're shopping.
Right.
So that's a common thing that people do that is preventable.
And again, we just take it for granted. Oh yeah, no one's going to. Well, those guys are out there, and I'm not trying to scare everybody for the holidays. Just trying to help people be mindful. Be mindful. So you've got a couple of things. You've already touched base on good practices dealing with the car. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well,
I mean, I know that big packages. That's a no-no.
it's not even big ones, it's little ones too. Like I said, somebody has a tablet sitting in the front seat, put it in the trunk so people can't see it. Put your stuff out of sight, whether it be in the console or your glove box, and it can be just little stuff. Make sure your doors are locked. When you're going to and from your cars, make sure your keys are already out and ready to go. When you approach your car, just look around. Make sure, again, you're going back to paying attention to your surroundings, but look inside your car. Make sure that there's nobody, if for some reason you forgot to lock your car, nobody's sitting in the back seat. Look around, people standing in the parking lots waiting and watching. It just goes back to being aware of your surroundings.
And you brought up money, cash. Mm-hmm. People are going to be carrying money with them. And in one way, shape, or form. Maybe it's an ATM card, something along those lines. Is there anything that we should be aware of as far as, I don't want to say scams, but there's so many tricks out there nowadays that people are using to grab our stuff, or
Right.
what we work hard for.
Well, if you're using a credit card, if you're using debit, they're going to require you to put a PIN number in. Be mindful that you're not, try to conceal you punching in the numbers the best that you can instead of being very openly about it. It's sad to say, but you need to protect that. If you're using an ATM or even gas stations, skimmers are very popular, and it's an easy way for bad guys to get your information. So when you approach, whether it be a gas station or an ATM machine or something like that, look at the device, and if you see something that doesn't look right, you see the lettering off, the color of the machine, the devices on the machine are a different color, different shades. Wiggle them, make sure that they're not loose, that somebody didn't put a skimmer on top of there to get your information. If you see some of that stuff and it bothers you and you feel uncomfortable, then don't use it. Don't put your credit card in there and give that information.
Don't run the risk.
Correct.
Don't run the risk. Now you've got me in the mind of being at like gas stations and stuff like that. everywhere you go now, you see little donation cans, and people are getting phone calls for donations. They're not all 100% legit, are they?
Not all. There are people that have programs that help other people, but not all of them are. And what I would recommend to people is when you're getting somebody approaching you, whether it be on the telephone or in person, they come to your house, ask for the credentials, ask for literature on the program that they're doing. We ourselves, the police department, we have a Christmas program where it is based solely off of the donations from the community. But we send literature to them telling them what the program is. I give them my name, my address, my phone number, and they can follow up to make sure that we are legitimate. They can call us and ask, and I can give them information. So if you've got somebody that's asking and you want to do something good and help people out that are less fortunate, by all means, all you got to do is just check out the company or the person that's asking for that donation. Make sure they're legitimate.
Okay, and I think that's solid advice, because there are a lot of different good organizations trying to do the right thing. And I hate to see good people not help out for fear of it being not legitimate.
Right.
Okay, so let's jump gears a little bit, because the Leesburg Police Department has a couple of events that are taking place over the holidays, and if you don't mind, I'd like you to kind of let the public know what these events are, what kind of goes into it, and how they can be involved if they so choose to be.
Okay, well, I'm working on 2 different things right now, and one of them is our annual Christmas bike and gift giveaway, and then the other one is the North Lake Shop with a Cop. The simplest one first is the North Lake Shop with a Cop, and both programs are funded based on donations from the community. So we send out information about the programs, and if people would like to donate, that money comes in. The money that comes in goes right back out, and we purchase, whether it's gift cards for the Shop with a Cop or the gifts for the other program. But Shop with a Cop, we use middle school children, and we have 2 middle schools in Leesburg. So we select children. We work with the counselors or the liaison officers there. And those children are selected. They get to come out on a day. They get a $100 gift certificate. We have officers who volunteer their time. They come out and they literally get to shop with the children. It gives us an interaction, a positive interaction with the children, and it's fun for the officers. It's fun for the kids. But that's the one thing that we do. The second one that we do is something that we started probably 25, 26 years ago. And
26 years ago.
Long time ago. I've been there 27, and it was a couple years before I came there. So
that's awesome. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Actually, I guess that number would be backwards, but it's those numbers are in there.
Been a while. Yeah, been a spell.
It's been a little bit. But anyway, we started out taking bicycles that were unclaimed, and we would part them together, clean them up, and we would give them out to people who maybe were a little bit less fortunate and not going to have Christmas. That's evolved over the years, and now we get donations where all of the bicycles that we give now are all new. And I've been in community services approximately 4 years, and I kind of put a little bit of a twist on it. We've kind of expanded it a little bit more to they get gifts now. So
really?
And in the beginning, it's always been that we delivered the bicycles to the homes. Last year, we started something new, and we got the community building before they took it down. And Walmart gave us some donations. We decorated. There's a local group, Tri-County Clowns, that came out. I got some art activities, little Christmas ornaments to make. And we did about a 4-hour activity. Domino's donated pizza. All of the officers and everybody that participated gave everybody baked goods. So we had pizza, we had baked goods, and then we had Santa. And the kids that came in got an invitation. They were selected same way through the schools, and we used elementary school kids for the bicycle and gift giveaway. They get the invitation, they get to come in with their families, and each kid, they get to eat, get to enjoy the different activities. Then they get to go see Santa, and when they see Santa, they get a wrapped gift that was hand-selected, I want to say, for them, because I send paperwork home with the kids through the school, and it tells me what they like, and I select a gift based on their interest or their likes. But they get a gift from Santa, and they get their bicycle. They get a little helmet, and
God, that's great. That's it. That's awesome. That really is.
it's a fun event.
It certainly sounds like it. So, and you accept donations for these programs, yes?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so if someone wanted to donate or help out, look for ways to help you guys out, where can they get that information?
They can contact me.
Okay.
My direct office number is 728-9859, or they can stop by the police department and ask to speak to me. I'll come down and talk to them and give them more details about it. But the whole event is based off of donations from the community. That's what funds it.
Wow, that's great. Well, Sergeant, you were worried, but that's all the time we have for the day, for this part. So, I want to say thank you for all you're doing, all you will do in the future, and thank you for coming on to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Very welcome. All right, we need to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Radio Waves. Again, I'm your host, Kris Poliquin, and this is a production of Red Apples Media. Before the break, we were talking with Sergeant Kim Stewart from the Leesburg Police Department about some general safety that we can all practice over the holidays to keep our families and wallets safe. So now I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Amanda Stevenson from the Leesburg Fire Department, and we're going to talk about some general Christmas safety that we can put into practice around the house to make sure our holidays are happy, safe, and insurance-free. So, Lieutenant, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do for the Leesburg Fire Department.
Well, I am a engine lieutenant, which means when the big red truck comes, I'm the one that's in charge of that crew. I've been with the fire department for 13 years, and I have been an engineer, a firefighter, an engineer, and now I'm a lieutenant. So.
Okay. So you're moving up.
Yes.
I guess you like it, or you wouldn't still be sticking with it.
I love it. It's a terrific job. Gives us a chance to come out and do things like this to help the public. So.
Which you will want to do in the future after this episode. So let's get into some of the things. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I said it in the first segment, but a lot of small, simple actions that we can do every day seem either mundane or we take for granted. We just get complacent. Can we go over some general safety tips?
We sure can.
For the holidays.
We sure can. I totally understand what you're talking about, complacency there. I have a husband that loves to decorate for Christmas, and I have to remind him all the time that 15 extension cords back to back is not a good way to go. So
it's not?
No, sir.
Okay.
What we're going to want to do is make sure that when we are decorating, making things nice and pretty for the holidays, that we're doing it in a safe manner. Let's start with like a Christmas tree.
Yes.
We, at my house, personally go for the real Christmas tree. The only downside to that is you have to be aware that it is real. Christmas trees are usually around 200 fires through the year.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, is that nationally?
Yes.
Okay, that's still a lot.
That's still a lot. It really is. We, fortunately, here in Leesburg, haven't had very many structure fires because of Christmas trees. But they are high.
Wood.
Yes, knock on wood. They are high ranking up there. And with that, 1 out of 32 usually result in a death because we're talking extremely fast accelerants on Christmas trees, especially if they have dried out for the real Christmas trees. And for the artificial ones, you need to be making sure that your labels say that they are fire retardant. That means that they have been treated so they are going to refrain from catching on fire as quickly as something that doesn't have the fire retardant on it. So.
Now, see, I, as just a general consumer, would have assumed that they were all already manufactured that way, and that's not the case.
No, there's some things that kind of slip by, and that's some other stuff that we're going to talk about later about lightings and stuff like that. And what you're going to want to look for on some of your labels and getting them from a reputable place.
Okay.
So, but back to the Christmas tree story.
Yes.
We do Christmas trees every year, a real live one. So when you're doing that, of course, you're going to want to stay away from candles on those Christmas trees. When we put anything of a heat source around it, we're going to want to keep it at least 3 feet away.
Okay.
So that means if you can still have your nice, pretty smelling candles, which, by the way, they do make artificial ones that are artificial lighting by batteries that have the
Sure.
same effect. But if you do want your real flame, just keep it away from anything that's going to be combustible, which is going to be a real Christmas tree. We're also going to want to make sure that when we bring that pretty little tree in the house, that we're going to cut off the bottom about 2 inches of it. That way, when we put it in our Christmas tree stand, we're going to be able to absorb more water through the tree and keep it moist, and it won't dry out as quickly.
Of
Yes.
course.
So we're definitely going to want to do that. When we go to put our lights on the Christmas tree, and all of us love to decorate it. I know I like the solid, pretty light ones,
Oh,
like the old school. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. When you're looking for Christmas tree lights, you want to maybe lean a little towards the LEDs. LEDs don't burn as hot as the traditional lights. They
Okay.
last longer. So when the little ones go to touch them, they're not going to be as hot on their fingers.
Okay.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
With the Christmas tree, the decorations and everything you put on it, be aware if you do have little ones, which a lot of our guys at the station have little brand new babies, 1 and under. So when they're grabbing things, try to keep all the glass ornaments, the fancy ones and stuff, a little bit higher. Anything that's smaller that they might pull down and choke on, try to keep them a little bit higher. You can keep the bottom part of the tree maybe 2 foot just for them to decorate. Nice hard plastic,
Yeah.
soft felt type decorations, anything like that would be nice for them.
Yeah, that's smart.
So
Again,
far.
you know, I did about 2 feet above the tree for the cat, not my kid.
That is
But
true.
That's a good point. It really is.
And that cat is probably very unhappy when Christmas time comes around because you took its, we'll let it play.
Yep.
But that covers a lot of the stuff with Christmas trees. I mean, you can have artificial trees. Just make sure that they have the fire retardant on them. And you can check them. They all have labels on them. They should be certified on the box. And when we come back to lighting, you're going to want to look for that too. You're going to want to make sure that your Christmas or holiday lights are certified. They are certified from an independent laboratory. Kind of like underwriters laboratories, the UL that you see on a lot of stuff, that means that they've been certified, tested. So
Really?
yeah, so it's just little things to look out for.
That's not a little thing. I'm no fool, but that's the first time I've ever heard of that.
Really? Well,
And so now it's almost, you know, I don't want anything to be this hard. But you're making it sound like it's really not that hard to make sure you're on the right page.
Because 9 times out of 10, everything is going to be certified and have that. Because, I mean, you're going to have the liability issue. Nobody wants it to come back to their store and say, look, you know,
That's
this
true.
disaster happened. We want to prevent disasters. So most everybody's always going to be on the up and up and make sure that they have the appropriate supplies that the consumer is going to want. But it's just something to be aware of on the other side of it. As your job as a consumer is just to look and make sure you're getting something that is tested.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that you could contact the City of Leesburg website. You can also contact the Lake County website in reference to holiday safety tips. A lot of the sites have them on there. You also have the NFPA site, which is what we use a lot of, and you can go on there and get safety tips. Red Cross also has safety tips. I know this because I checked out a few of them this morning. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. No.
So you can go on, and they've already got their safety tips up. So you would be good to go on there. They have cooking safety tips for the holiday, especially with Thanksgiving coming up and turkeys.
Right.
Yes, and also tips for small children and things we don't think about is this time of season, because it's usually not in the time frame of check your smoke detector batteries, but make sure that we think about those smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors.
Right.
So
Again, I'm no dummy. I need to go home and do that. It's been a while. I usually wait until they start yelling at me.
no, we
And
don't want to do that.
That's usually about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It never
Yes.
happens in the afternoon, ever. But again, complacency,
Mm-hmm.
right? I get free batteries mailed specifically for my detectors.
Oh,
And I've got to, you know, shame on me, I'm not even sure who sends them.
Well,
I'm really not sure, but I get them every couple of months, and with a little sticky on it says change your batteries.
well,
It's
if
like,
you,
wow, look, and you know where they go? My drawer.
oh, shame on you.
I know, no, I'm pretty safe around my house, but again, oversight.
Well, for anybody else that gets the batteries in the mail or just picks up their batteries, keep in mind that they can call up the local fire department. We'll come out and we will assist them with the smoke detector battery change, or even installing. We will assist them with installing a new smoke detector.
Is that right?
That is right. Your fire department is here for you, so you just call us and we will come out and do the best that we can do for you.
Wow. I may do that. I will not call you to change a battery.
We will get those batteries out of your door.
But I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, we're here for that resource. Back to the carbon monoxide
Yeah, I was
detectors.
about to say, while we're on the detectors, yeah.
With something with those, is you need to be aware that it's something that's odorless. You don't notice it, and
Yeah.
it is something that will definitely kill, and we don't want that around the holidays. So
Or ever.
ever,
but-
yes, ever. But you can pick those up at any of your retail stores. Just look for them. They're usually going to be in more of the tool section right there with your smoke detectors. And some of
Okay.
them are also dual smoke detectors and carbon monoxide.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
They do come with both.
Yes,
now.
some of them come with both, and then you can get individuals, and you can get them for $10, $15. So it's not really a huge investment in your safety.
Right. Now, do you have to wire those directly into the house? Or?
It depends on the model of the house. Some of the older models have them wired. Some of the newer ones do. It just depends on who built the home, but not all the time. And even if you do, you call the fire department, and we will come out. We will assist you with it. So we'll make sure you're safe.
Awesome. That's great. And again, beating the drum. We get hectic. We're scrambling. We're hustling through the holiday season. Take the time and just okay. Let me ask you that. I was gonna put my little PSA out there, but what can someone do? Can you walk someone's like, listen, if you just want to take an hour, I'm going to walk through my house today. What should I kind of just look for? Things jump out. Like, I should check my fire detectors.
You should definitely
You know?
check your fire detector. I go through it and hit them all in the house, the hallway. You need to keep in mind that you're going to need to have one in every bedroom.
Okay.
And then outside in the hallway area. You're going to keep them away from the kitchen, not directly into the kitchen, because if anybody cooks like I do sometimes, they are a timer. So
Right.
you might want to put them in the dining room area. But it has a test button on it. You just test it. It will sound, and then it will stop when you get done testing it. The batteries on most of the smoke detectors now are going to be 10 years. So,
Okay.
yeah, and there's sealed batteries in there. So after 10 years, the smoke detector is no good. It's got a 10-year lifespan. You take it off, throw it in the trash, and you go and get another one.
Well, 10 years, that's a long time anyway.
That
It
is a
really
long
is.
time. That is a very long time. But in reference to safety for the holidays and such, when we were talking about Christmas trees, we want to make sure that when you put them up in your house, they're not blocking a means of egress or an exit. So if something does happen, you don't want them to hinder you from getting out of your home. So keep that in mind with those. Also, we were talking about the decorations and extension cords and such. When you
Yes.
power extension cords one to another and like daisy chain them more than one or two, you're putting a load on that extension cord, and it could affect the fuse inside, and that would cause all kinds of overheating issues for your extension cords. Another thing to keep in mind, which a lot of people don't really think about it, is extension cords are either meant for inside or outside. The same with those beautiful holiday decorations that you'll
Yes.
have, the lights and such. Some are inside and some are outside, so you need to make sure you utilize the correct one. In reference to that, back to my husband and his mini decorations that he has going on. Whenever you have those pretty decorations out on your front yard and across your house and even on the inside sometimes, you're going to want to make sure you unplug those before you go to bed. Or if you're leaving the house for a couple of days, make sure you unplug them. We don't need to put any due stress onto all that circuitry that's going on there.
Sure. And again, solid sound advice, because everybody knows the movie, A Christmas Story, sitting there messing with fuses.
Yeah.
I grew up that way, and a lot of people just go, well, I've never had a problem. I'm not going to have a problem. Next thing you know,
Exactly. You brought up the movies. You remember seeing the movies where they staple the lights up with a staple gun or put screws in it. We do not want to do that. We want to avoid doing that because we're hindering the installation of the lighting or the extension cords, and we don't want to do that. And you could cause a shock to yourself. So definitely, if you're going to install lights or security thing, make sure you do it with the proper equipment.
All right. Well, so if someone, one more time, wanted to get more information, where can they get that?
Well, they can start with us, www.leesburgflorida.gov. We have all kinds of different links and sites on there that you could access, or you could go to www.lakecountyflorida.gov. Okay. And you can also access Red Cross. They have wonderful links on their site, too, to holiday safety. Oh. And anytime you want, you just stop by one of the local fire departments, and we will be more than welcome to assist you with anything.
That's great. Well, Lieutenant, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For, again,
thank
taking
you
the
for
time
having
out.
me.
Very welcome, and we'll do this again, even if it's reluctant. But that's all the time we have for today. So thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time.